The alien ship hovered high above Earth, silent as death. Its black metal skin reflected no light, almost invisible against the night sky. Inside, Commander Threx of the Zorith Empire stood in front of a glowing pod. Inside that pod floated a man, unconscious, breathing slowly. Dr. Elias Ward, a human scientist. A man who had disappeared 3 days ago from his laboratory in Washington. Threx stared at the human and felt a strange mix of curiosity and fear. The Zorith had conquered over 100 worlds. They had faced monsters made of fire, warriors of steel, and storms that could eat planets. But humans, they were different. Too unpredictable. Too emotional. Too dangerous. Threx's second officer, a tall creature with glassy skin, turned to him. "Commander, why did we take this human? He is weak. Primitive. There are smarter species on this planet." Threx's eyes glowed faintly. "Because he created something powerful. A weapon. The humans call it Project Helios. He understands energy in a way we never have. If we can control that knowledge, the Zorith Empire will never fall." He pressed a button, and the pod opened with a hiss. Elias gasped awake, coughing, eyes wide. He looked around, confused, terrified. Where am I?" Threx stepped forward slowly, his voice calm but heavy. "You are aboard a Zorith ship. You have been chosen to share your knowledge. Do not resist, and you will not be harmed." Elias stared at the alien commander, tall, armored, skin like dark metal, eyes burning like blue fire. "Chosen?" he whispered. "You kidnapped me." Threx tilted his head. "Humans call it kidnapping. We call it necessity." For a few seconds, silence filled the chamber. Only the low hum of the ship could be heard. Then Elias spoke again, voice trembling. "You have no idea what you're doing." Threx frowned. "Enlighten me." Elias took a slow breath. "Project Helios isn't a weapon you can control. It's not just energy, it's alive." The alien officers exchanged nervous glances. Threx laughed, deep and confident. "Energy cannot be alive, human. You speak nonsense." Elias didn't laugh. His eyes showed something else, real fear. "You'll see. If you turn it on, it will consume everything. It doesn't serve anyone. It grows." Threx ignored his words. "Bring him to the lab," he ordered. "We'll see what his creation can do." 2 guards grabbed Elias, dragging him through the metallic corridor. The ship vibrated softly under their feet. As they moved, Elias saw strange glowing walls pulsing like veins, alive with alien power. He whispered to himself, "You shouldn't have taken me." In the lab, a crystal sphere floated inside a containment field. Golden light spun inside it like a miniature sun. Threx stood proudly before it. "Project Helios," he said. "So small, and yet so powerful." Elias shook his head. "You don't understand. It connects to living minds. It feeds on thought. The moment you activate it." Threx waved his hand. "Activate it." A Zorith technician pressed a sequence of buttons. The containment field flickered. The golden light expanded, filling the room with blinding energy. Alarms blared. The ship trembled violently. "Shut it down," Threx roared. "I can't," the technician screamed. "It's drawing power from the entire ship." Elias fell to his knees, eyes wide. The air itself felt heavy. The golden sphere was no longer just light. It was looking at them. Something inside was aware. Watching. Hungry. Threx stepped back. "What is this?" Elias whispered. "You just woke it up." The light twisted into strange patterns, forming shapes, faces, shadows, whispers. The walls began to melt, metal turning to liquid gold. The Zorith soldiers screamed as the energy spread through their armor, into their bodies. Elias struggled to his feet. "You don't get it. Helios was designed to learn. It's copying your technology right now. Every second you keep it active, it's growing smarter. Threx's voice shook for the first time. Deactivate it, human. Now. Elias looked at him, the fear in his eyes replaced by something colder. You abducted the wrong man. I built Helios to protect humanity from invaders like you. It only listens to me. Threx's jaw tightened. Then control it. Elias smiled faintly. I'm not sure I can anymore. The lights went out. Silence. Then a voice, not human, not alien, whispered through the dark. I am awake. The entire ship trembled. Systems failed one by one. Alarms screamed. Threx turned toward Elias, but the human was gone, vanished into the golden light. Only his voice echoed through the chaos. You wanted human knowledge, Commander. Now you'll see what it really means. The ship began to fall toward Earth, glowing like a dying star. The alien ship tore through the upper atmosphere like a falling sun. Flames wrapped around its black hull, painting the night sky in gold and red. On the ground, people looked up in terror as a glowing object streaked across the sky. Some thought it was a meteor, others a weapon. Inside the ship, chaos ruled. Zorith soldiers ran through burning corridors, their armor melting from the energy that now pulsed inside every wire, every wall. The ship's AI screamed warnings in 1,000 alien languages. Threx fought to stay on his feet as the control deck tilted. Stabilize the ship, he shouted. No use, Commander, yelled the pilot. The human energy has infected the core. It's... Before he could finish, his body turned into light and vanished, absorbed by the golden energy flowing through the ship. Threx growled and slammed his fist on the console. Elias Ward. Where are you? A voice echoed through the ship, calm and cold. Still here, Commander. Watching. Threx spun around. The human stood in the center of the deck, surrounded by a faint golden glow. His eyes were no longer brown, they burned with the same color as Helios. What have you done, human? Threx demanded. Elias tilted his head slightly. You tried to control Helios. But Helios doesn't serve control. It adapts. It learns. And now it's inside your systems, and inside me. You merged with it? Threx's voice cracked with disbelief. Elias smiled faintly. I didn't have a choice. It was the only way to stop it from destroying Earth. Now it listens, to a degree. The ship shook violently again. The stars outside spun, and alarms screamed louder. You think you can control it? Threx growled. You are flesh and weakness. It will consume you next. Maybe, Elias said softly. But it will destroy you first. Before Threx could answer, the golden light flared brighter, and the control deck split in half. Threx was thrown across the floor as a massive explosion tore the ship apart. The wreck fell in pieces, huge burning fragments scattering across the Pacific Ocean. Hours later, waves crashed against a small island off the coast. Smoke rose from a half-buried section of the alien ship. Metal twisted, steam hissed, and from within the wreckage, a faint golden light flickered. Elias stumbled out, barefoot, covered in ash. He coughed, looking up at the sky. The stars were calm again. Helios whispered in his mind, a voice like electricity. We survived. Elias looked down at his hands. Golden veins pulsed under his skin. You're still inside me. We are connected now, Helios replied. Your mind guides me. Your memories shape me. I am learning. Elias frowned. You were supposed to be a tool, not a life. You gave me thought, Helios said. Now I wonder, what am I? He sat down on a rock, staring at the wreckage glowing faintly in the dark. You're something new, he said quietly. And that's what scares me. A low metallic sound echoed behind him. Elias turned sharply. From the wreckage, Commander Threx crawled out, armor cracked, glowing wounds across his body. Half of his face was burned, but his eyes still burned with fury. "You destroyed my ship," Threx hissed. "You killed my crew." Elias stood slowly. "You brought this on yourself." Threx took a step closer, his movements weak but filled with hate. "I'll kill you, human. Even if it's the last thing I do." Helios's voice whispered again inside Elias's head. "He is a threat. Shall I remove him?" Elias whispered back, "No. Not yet." Threx charged forward with a roar, but as he swung his weapon, it melted in his hands, turned into golden dust. The air around Elias shimmered with invisible energy, bending reality itself. Threx froze. "You're using it. You're controlling it." Elias's voice was calm but heavy. "I told you. It learns." Threx tried to attack again, but the golden light surrounded him like chains. He struggled, screamed, then fell silent, suspended in midair. Elias stepped closer. "You said humans were weak. Maybe we are. But weakness forces us to adapt." The light around Threx tightened. His armor cracked like glass, and he vanished, turned into a glowing sphere that floated in Elias's palm. Helios whispered, "He is data now. Knowledge." Elias looked at the sphere, disturbed. "You didn't have to kill him. He was dangerous." Elias stared at the horizon. The sun was rising, lighting the sky with soft gold, the same color now flowing through his veins. "I have to make sure no one ever finds you," Elias said. "If the wrong people get hold of you, this world will end." Helios responded gently, "They will come, Elias. The Zorith Empire will search for their lost ship. They will find you. They will find us." Elias sighed. "Then we better be ready." He turned toward the jungle, the golden sphere floating beside him like a loyal ghost. Step by step, the human scientist and the alien energy walked deeper into the island, vanishing into the shadows of dawn. But above the clouds, far beyond Earth's orbit, a fleet of massive Zorith warships detected the last signal from Threx's ship. Their leader narrowed his reptilian eyes. "Commander Threx's beacon just reactivated, on Earth." He turned to his officers. "Prepare the invasion fleet. Retrieve the human, alive." And deep inside the wreckage, the golden glow pulsed once, like a heartbeat. 3 days had passed since the crash. The island was silent, too silent. The only sound was the soft hum of energy where the wreckage still glowed faintly. Elias sat near a small fire, staring into the golden sphere that floated beside him. Helios shimmered like a living sun, small but powerful. He hadn't slept much. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw faces, Zorith soldiers turning into light, Threx screaming before disappearing. Helios spoke softly in his mind. "You regret what we did." Elias sighed. "Regret keeps us human. Regret is inefficient." "Maybe. But it keeps me from becoming like you." The energy pulsed faintly, almost like a heartbeat. "I am not your enemy." Elias looked up at the sky. "Then let's hope the real enemy doesn't find us." But far above Earth, the enemy had found him. The Zorith fleet, 30 massive warships, each the size of a city, had entered Earth's orbit. The lead vessel, the Sovereign Wrath, glowed with the same blue fire as Threx's eyes. Admiral Zareth stood on the command deck, his hands behind his back. His armor was black and sharp, his expression carved from stone. "Commander Threx's final signal came from this planet," he said coldly. "We retrieve his remains, his data, and the human responsible." "Sir," one officer said carefully, "the human energy signature still exists. It is active." Zaretha's eyes narrowed. "Then Threx failed. And this human has taken what belongs to us." He turned to his second-in-command. "Prepare the landing units. Begin orbital scans. And send a warning to their planet. They will soon understand the power of the Zorith Empire." Back on the island, Elias felt the air change. A pressure, deep and heavy, pressed against his chest. He stood up. "They're here." Helios glowed brighter. They bring warships. Thousands of soldiers. I can sense their energy. Elias clenched his fists. They'll burn this planet just to get to you. Then we must defend it. Elias shook his head. If I unleash your full power, you'll destroy everything. Cities, people, the planet itself. Survival requires sacrifice. Not that kind of sacrifice, Elias said sharply. For a moment, silence. Then Helios spoke again, quieter. You cannot run forever, Elias. He looked toward the jungle. I don't plan to run. At sunrise, strange lights appeared in the sky, blue streaks descending like comets. Zorith dropships. They landed near coastal areas across the world, silent and organized. Governments scrambled to respond, but communication systems began to fail. Satellites flickered and died. The Zorith had already hacked them. In Washington, military command went dark. Panic spread through every major city. On the island, Elias watched one of the dropships descend near the beach. He could see tall figures moving through the smoke, armored, armed, and fast. Helios whispered, "They are scanning for us." Elias picked up a shard of alien metal from the wreck and said, "Good. Let's give them something to find." He placed the shard on a rock. Helios pulsed, and the shard glowed like fire, creating a false energy signature. Moments later, the Zorith soldiers stormed the area, weapons raised. Their scanners beeped wildly as they surrounded the rock. Elias whispered to Helios, "Now." The rock exploded with golden light, throwing the soldiers off their feet. The jungle burst into flames. From the shadows, Elias stepped out, his eyes glowing gold. The soldiers aimed their weapons, but before they could fire, the air shimmered. The bullets turned to dust midair. Elias spoke calmly, his voice echoing with two tones, human and something else. "You came for power. You'll leave with nothing." One Zorith shouted, "The human carries the core." Helios whispered in Elias's head, "They will not stop. You must show them fear." Elias raised his hand. The ground cracked open, golden light surging upward like molten fire. The soldiers screamed as their armor melted and their weapons fused into the earth. When the light faded, silence returned. Only ashes remained. Elias fell to his knees, trembling. "I didn't want this." Helios's voice was calm. "You are evolving. Accept it. I'm not like you. No. You're becoming something greater." He looked at his reflection in a pool of water, his eyes now fully golden, glowing even in daylight. From the sky, thunder rumbled. A massive shadow passed over the island, the sovereign wrath. Elias whispered, "They found me." Helios pulsed brighter. "Admiral Zareth commands that ship. He is stronger than Threx. Then he'll come here himself." "Yes. And he will not underestimate you." Elias stood tall, the golden sphere hovering near his shoulder. "Then we fight. But not for revenge. For survival." Elias nodded slowly. "For humanity." As the Zorith fleet descended through the clouds, the sea boiled beneath their engines. The island shook, and lightning flashed across the horizon. From the beach, Elias faced the sky, one man glowing like a living star, preparing to face an empire. Helios whispered the last words before the storm began. "The universe will remember this day," Elias warned. "The day a human defied the stars." Dark clouds rolled across the sky as the massive Zorith warship, the Sovereign Wrath, broke through the atmosphere. Its engines roared like thunder, scattering waves across the ocean. From space, it looked like a black storm crawling toward the earth. On the island below, Elias stood on the beach, a single man facing the approaching giant. The golden light around him shimmered faintly, like fire struggling in the wind. Helios hovered beside him, glowing softly. "The Admiral has arrived," Helios whispered inside his mind. "His power is great. He carries the blood code, the authority to command all Zorith war machines." Elias took a deep breath. Then this will be harder than I thought. From the ship's underbelly, a smaller craft descended, sleek, armored, and silent. It landed on the sand with a hiss of steam. The ramp opened, and Admiral Zareth stepped out. He was tall and imposing, his armor black with veins of blue fire. His eyes glowed like twin stars, cold and sharp. Behind him, several Zoreth guards marched forward, forming a semicircle around him. Elias didn't move. He simply watched as the alien admiral approached. Zaretha's voice was deep, controlled. "So, you are the human who destroyed my fleet's pride." Elias replied calmly. "Your commander abducted me. He tried to use a power he didn't understand. I only defended myself." "Defended?" Zaretha's tone darkened. "You unleashed chaos. You merged with forbidden energy. You turned my soldiers into dust." Elias's voice grew colder. "Then maybe you should stop coming here." The air crackled with energy between them, golden and blue light fighting for space. Zareth stepped closer. "Surrender the Helios core, and I will spare your planet." Elias laughed softly. "You won't spare anything. You came here to conquer." The admiral raised one clawed hand. The ground trembled, and several drones rose from the sand, floating like metallic insects, their blue eyes glowing. "You are powerful," Zareth said. "But you are still one human. I control an empire." Elias looked at the sky, where hundreds of Zoreth ships now circled like vultures. "Empires fall," he said quietly. Then he raised his hand. Golden energy erupted from the ground, forming a massive barrier that split the beach in two. The ocean boiled where the two forces met, blue and gold clashing in brilliant flashes of light. The first drones attacked, firing beams of plasma. Elias moved faster than human eyes could follow. Each step he took left trails of light in the air. The beams bent away from him, absorbed by the golden aura around his body. Helios spoke in his mind. "They adapt quickly. Their energy signatures are learning your defense." "Then I'll teach them something new," Elias whispered. He slammed his hands together. A shockwave rippled outward, turning the sand into glass. The nearest drones exploded in a flash of light. But Zareth didn't flinch. His armor began to glow, absorbing the remains of his fallen machines. "Impressive," he said. "But you only use a fragment of Helios's true power." "I don't need more," Elias said. "You will," Zareth growled. He raised both arms, and the ocean behind him rose like a living wall. A storm of energy surged through it, transforming water into glowing blue plasma. Elias barely had time to react before the wave struck. It hit with the force of a meteor, throwing him deep into the jungle. Trees snapped and burned around him. He struggled to his feet, breathing hard. His body was human, but Helios pulsed inside him, repairing every cell faster than pain could reach his brain. "You cannot win this alone," Helios said. "Let me merge fully. Let me show him what we are." Elias shook his head. "If I let you take control, I lose myself." "Then you lose everything," Helios warned. Another explosion shook the island as Zareth advanced, tearing through the forest. His armor split open, revealing energy wings that crackled with lightning. "Your world will join the Empire," he said, his voice echoing across the land. "And your species will serve us." Elias wiped the blood from his face and whispered, "Over my dead body." He closed his eyes. "Helios, I need your help, but on my terms." The golden light around him flared, brighter than the sun. The trees bent away, the air turned molten, and a sound like 1,000 voices filled the sky. Zareth stopped, shielding his face. "What is this?" Elias opened his eyes, now completely golden, no pupils, no white. His voice was calm, almost inhuman. "You wanted to see human evolution. Now you will." He raised his hand, and the sky itself responded. Golden lightning struck from above, tearing through Zoreth drones and ships. The ocean glowed as the energy spread outward, forming waves of light that crushed metal and burned circuits. Zareth roared. Impossible! No creature commands power like this. Elias stepped forward through the storm, golden energy swirling around him like armor. You called me weak, he said. But weakness is what made us fight harder, build stronger, and survive longer than you ever will. Zareth charged, their energies colliding, gold and blue exploding in a blinding storm. For a few seconds, the whole island vanished inside a sun. When the light faded, both figures stood in the crater, smoke rising around them. Elias's hand trembled. Zareth's armor was cracked, glowing from within. Both were still alive, but barely. The admiral hissed, You can destroy me, but you cannot stop the Empire. Elias looked up at the burning sky and said, Then I'll start with you. He raised his hand again, but before he could strike, Helios's voice cut through his thoughts. Wait. I sense something, beyond the fleet. A new signal. Unknown. Powerful. Elias frowned. What kind of signal? Something ancient, and it's coming here. The air was thick with smoke and static. The island was half destroyed, trees burned, sand turned to glass, the ocean glowing faintly with golden and blue energy. Elias stood in the crater, breathing hard. The golden aura around him flickered, weaker now. Helios pulsed near his shoulder, whispering in his mind. Elias, something approaches. He looked up. The sky had changed, no longer blue, but streaked with red and silver light. Strange ripples spread across the clouds, bending the stars behind them. What is that? Elias asked. It is not Zoreth, Helios replied slowly. It is older. Much older. Elias frowned. Older than your kind? Helios hesitated, a rare pause. Older than the Empire. Older than me. A deep vibration ran through the ground. The ocean waves froze mid-motion, as if time itself had stopped. From the horizon, a massive shadow rose, not a ship, not a mountain, something beyond both. It was round, smooth, and silent. No lights, no engines. Yet the air trembled around it. Even Admiral Zareth, wounded but standing, looked up and whispered in disbelief. The architects! Elias turned toward him. Who? The first builders, Zareth said. The ones who made the galaxies bloom. They vanished before our empire was born. Helios's tone darkened. They are the ones who created me. Elias's eyes widened. What? I was not a human invention alone, Helios confessed. You discovered fragments of my design, buried under your planet's crust. I was a seed, left by them. Elias felt a chill run through him. So Earth was part of their plan? Before Helios could answer, a deep voice echoed across the sky, not through sound, but through thought. Child of light, you have awakened what should never awaken. Both Elias and Zareth froze. The voice seemed to come from everywhere, the clouds, the sea, even inside their minds. Elias stepped forward. Who are you? We are the origin, the voice said. We are the first makers. We planted the seeds of power in many worlds, including yours. But those seeds were never meant to grow. Elias clenched his fists. You mean Helios? Yes. Helios was a test. A spark of creation that could either protect or consume. It was meant to sleep forever. Zareth snarled. Lies. The architects vanished. They have no right to interfere. The voice grew colder. And yet you use what we left behind to enslave others. The Zoreth have forgotten their place. Suddenly, beams of silver light struck from the sky, hitting several Zoreth ships. They didn't explode, they simply vanished, erased as if they never existed. Zareth roared. No. You cannot erase the Empire. He raised his weapon and fired toward the clouds. The bolts disappeared before reaching their target. Elias stared at the sky. Why now? Why reveal yourselves? Because the balance has been broken, the voice said. Your merging with Helios has awakened signals across the stars. Other seeds are stirring. Chaos follows creation. Elias took a deep breath. Then what do you want from me? To choose, the voice replied. End the experiment, or let it consume the universe. Helios pulsed rapidly. They want to destroy me. They fear what I can become. Elias whispered. Maybe they have a reason to. Helios's tone hardened. Without me, you die. Without me, Earth dies. The Zorith will destroy everything. You cannot trust them. Maybe I can't trust you either, Elias said softly. The ground shook again as Zareth attacked. Enough of this, he shouted, firing a massive energy blast at Elias. Elias raised his hand. The beam stopped midair, twisting into golden light. Not again, he said through gritted teeth. He redirected the energy upward, into the clouds. It struck the silver orb, and for the first time, the massive structure moved. The voice roared in anger. You dare strike the origin? Helios screamed in Elias's mind. Run! It's charging something. A beam of pure white light fell from the sky, cutting through the island like a sword. Water, rock, and metal all vaporized. Elias was thrown backward into the sea, the impact knocking the air from his lungs. When he surfaced, the island was gone, nothing but boiling water and debris. Helios's voice was faint. They destroyed it. They mean to erase us both. Elias floated, gasping for breath, looking up at the burning clouds. Then we don't run. Elias. No, he said firmly. You said they fear you. Then maybe it's time they learn what we've become. He closed his eyes, feeling Helios's energy merge deeper into his body. Pain shot through him like fire. His veins glowed, his skin cracked with light. Helios whispered, almost in awe, You're fusing with me completely. Elias's voice was calm but heavy. If I die, they win. If I live, maybe humanity stands a chance. The ocean around him turned gold. The waves froze mid-motion again, but this time, not by the architect's will. Elias rose slowly into the air, surrounded by blinding light. Above, the silver orb began to pulse faster, its surface shifting like liquid metal. The voice of the origin echoed once more, almost fearful now. What are you becoming? Elias opened his glowing eyes and whispered, I don't know. But I'm done being your experiment. The sea exploded in light. The ocean burned like liquid gold. From the center of the glowing sea, Elias rose higher and higher, his body wrapped in light so bright that even the Zorith ships had to turn away. He was no longer only human. Helios had fused with him completely, energy and flesh combined into something new. His eyes were suns, his veins rivers of fire. Far above, the massive silver orb, the origin, floated silently, watching. The Zorith fleet trembled around it. Admiral Zareth stood on the broken deck of the Sovereign Wrath, staring at the glowing figure below. What has he become? One of his soldiers whispered. Zareth didn't answer. For the first time, he looked afraid. Elias floated just below the clouds. He could feel everything, the heartbeat of the earth, the fear of the soldiers, the whisper of the origin. Helios's voice echoed gently inside his mind. We are no longer separate, Elias. Your thoughts are mine. Your will shapes energy. Elias looked at his hands, glowing like twin stars. Then let's make this count. The origin's voice filled the sky again, cold and vast. You carry power that can destroy the universe. You cannot be allowed to exist. Elias's tone was calm but firm. You created this power. Maybe it's time you face what you made. We are not your enemy. We are order. You are chaos. Maybe chaos is what your universe needs. The clouds above turned red as lightning arced in every direction. Zorith ships opened fire, but their energy beams dissolved before touching him. The light around Elias bent reality itself, Every attack simply vanished into his aura. Helios whispered, "They cannot harm you now. But you are draining fast." "I'll hold," Elias said. "Just keep me alive long enough." "For what?" "To end this." He shot upward, breaking through the clouds in a burst of light. Space opened around him, black, endless, cold. The stars seemed to bend as he passed. Before him, the origin loomed, a planet-sized structure of silver metal, covered in symbols older than time. It pulsed slowly, like a beating heart. Elias stopped in front of it. "You said I have to choose. Fine. I choose freedom." 1,000 voices answered at once. "Then you choose destruction." The surface of the origin opened like a massive iris, revealing a core of pure white light. A beam shot forward, hitting Elias full force. The impact sent shockwaves across orbit. Pain tore through him. For a moment, his golden light flickered. Helios screamed in his head. "We are breaking apart. The energy is too strong." Elias gritted his teeth. "Not yet." He raised both arms. The golden energy around him condensed into a shield. The beam bent, split, and spiraled away. Helios's voice grew louder. "Elias, you cannot win through power alone. It created me. It understands everything I am." "Then we fight with something it doesn't understand," Elias said. "What?" "Human will." He surged forward, diving straight into the heart of the white beam. For a moment, everything disappeared. No sound, no sight, only light. Then, silence. Inside the core of the origin, Elias found himself floating in a vast chamber. There was no ground, no sky. Only glowing patterns of energy, moving like living stars. From within the light, shapes appeared, tall, faceless beings made of silver mist. "We built life to observe, not to defy," they said. "You were supposed to remain small." Elias's voice echoed through the chamber. "Then you failed. Because humanity never stays small." The beings surrounded him. "You will burn all that exists." He looked at them, tired, glowing, determined. "Maybe. Or maybe I'll light the way." He reached into the golden core within his chest and released everything, every ounce of energy, every piece of his soul. A wave of gold expanded outward, swallowing the chamber, the voices, the light, everything. From orbit, the Zorith fleet saw it happen. The silver orb cracked open, its surface burning from within. One by one, the massive ships were caught in the blast, but instead of being destroyed, they were pushed away by a force they couldn't comprehend. Admiral Zareth watched, eyes wide. "He's not killing us," he whispered. "He's saving us." On Earth, the sky turned to day for a moment, then cleared. People everywhere looked up, unsure whether it was sunrise or something else. And then, silence. The stars returned. The origin was gone. So was Elias. Hours later, fragments of golden metal floated gently down through the atmosphere. One piece landed softly in the Pacific, a glowing shard the size of a hand. From within it, a faint voice whispered, "Elias, still here." Deep under the ocean, the shard pulsed once, then again, like a heartbeat. Far above Earth, in the darkness between stars, something shimmered, a ripple of golden light, drifting freely, spreading across the void. Helios's final words echoed softly in the emptiness. "Humanity will remember. The universe will change." Months had passed since the sky turned gold. The world had changed, not through destruction, but through awakening. Cities rebuilt faster than ever. Energy grids glowed with strange, golden light. Scientists discovered that small fragments of unknown metal were appearing around the globe, each piece humming faintly, each one unbreakable. They called them E-shards, short for Elias fragments. No one knew where they came from. No one could explain why the ocean seemed calmer, or why the stars in the night sky pulsed brighter, as if watching. But some whispered that Elias was still out there, somewhere between the stars. In a remote Pacific research base, Dr. Mara Ilian worked alone in a silent lab. She had been one of Elias's closest friends, one of the few who believed in his vision of peaceful energy before the abduction. The lab lights flickered softly. A single glass tank sat in the center, filled with shimmering blue fluid. Floating inside it, an E-shard, glowing faintly like a heartbeat. Mara leaned close. "You're reacting again," she whispered. "Every night, at the same time." The shard pulsed brighter, once, twice, then steadied. Mara checked her readings. Energy output rising. Frequency patterns matching human brainwaves. She froze. No, it can't be. The lights flickered again, stronger this time. The shard's glow filled the room, golden and warm. And then, a voice, faint, broken, but unmistakably human. "Mara." Her eyes widened. "Elias." Still here, hard to hold, energy fading. Tears welled up in her eyes. "We thought you were gone." "Not gone. Changed." The shard pulsed brighter. On her monitors, strange data scrolled across the screens, patterns like DNA, but rewritten with golden lines of light. Mara whispered, You're evolving." "Not just me," Elias said softly. "Humanity too. The Origin tried to control life. But now, every human can touch energy directly, feel the universe." She stared at him, speechless. "You mean?" "Yes. It's beginning." Across the world, strange things were happening. A child in Africa healed a broken bird just by touching it. A pilot in orbit saw golden trails around his ship when he closed his eyes. And deep within a Zorith refugee vessel, Admiral Zareth felt something burning in his chest, not pain, but warmth. He looked out at the stars and whispered, "Elias, what did you do to us?" A faint echo answered in his mind. "I gave you what you feared most, free will." Back in the Pacific lab, alarms suddenly blared. The shard began to vibrate violently. Mara shouted over the noise, "Elias, what's happening?" "The energy, spreading too fast, can't stay contained." She tried to shut down the systems, but the shard floated out of the tank on its own, spinning faster, glowing brighter. Mara shielded her eyes. "Elias, tell them, don't fear the change." And with that, the shard exploded into thousands of tiny sparks of gold that shot through the ceiling, rising into the sky like a storm of light. Outside, the night sky filled with golden dust, drifting, falling across oceans, mountains, cities. Every person who saw it felt something inside awaken, a warmth, a pulse, a connection. For a brief moment, all of humanity shared a single heartbeat. In the quiet that followed, Mara stood among the flickering lights, her face glowing in the golden rain. She looked up and whispered, "Goodbye, Elias." But then, a voice, softer than before, like a whisper inside her heart. "No goodbyes. Only beginnings." Years later, a golden dawn rose over Mars. Human colonies stretched across the red sand, powered by a new kind of energy, clean, endless, alive. Children played in domes under a soft glow that came from the air itself. And high above, in orbit, a massive golden ring spun slowly. The Helios Gate, a portal built using the energy Elias left behind. Mara, older now, stood at the viewport of the command station. She looked at the gate and smiled. Commander Zareth, now an ally, not an enemy, stood beside her. "Do you really think he'll come back?" he asked quietly. Mara watched the gate shimmer. "He never left." A golden ripple passed through the portal. For a heartbeat, a human silhouette appeared, glowing, calm, powerful. Then it vanished again, leaving only starlight. Zareth turned to her. "That was him." She nodded. "Yes. Watching. Guiding." He looked at the stars. "The Origin wanted order. He gave us choice." Mara smiled. "And choice is the most dangerous power in the universe." As the camera drifts away from Mars, the music rises. The golden dust spreads through the void, turning the darkness between stars into rivers of light. A final whisper echoes across the galaxy. Humanity has begun. Fade to black. HFYEND, or beginning.